Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca Vanderheiden and I am the Ag in the Classroom Coordinator here in Scott County for Riverbend Ag in the Classroom. And today we're going to be talking about pollination and our pollinators. So what is pollination? Does anybody have a guess? Pollination is the transfer of pollen. So pollination is very important to the life cycle of our plants. Plants cannot produce seeds unless they have been pollinated. So who are the pollinators? They are the honeybees or our butterflies or even our birds. So we're going to be talking about honeybees today, and then we're going to do a fun butterfly craft. But first, let's get into the honeybees. Honeybees collect the pollen and nectar from the plant. And then the honeybees then take the pollen and nectar to their hives, which would be their homes, basically. The hives are the bees' homes. And once it is, they take it to the hives, they then make the pollen and nectar into honey. So we're going to talk to a beekeeper who is essentially a farmer, and we're going to talk to him about his bees and find out where they live and how they make their honey. So let's take a look at the farm.
Okay, my name is Robert Rowe. My wife named my apiary Bob's Bees, and we are at Miss Effie's You Pick Flowers in just outside of Donahue. I have 3 hives here. 2 of them are Langstroth style hives. The third one is a top bar, which is, they believe, is more of a natural way of having bees. I've been doing it for about 10 years now. And a little bit about the bees. The bees that are here, I bought as packages last spring out of Ebert Bees in Mount Vernon, Iowa. The queens are hybrids. They're a cross between Italian and Carnolian. There are quite a few different types of bees throughout the United States and the world. Originally, bees were not native to the United States. They were brought over by the settlers to Plymouth Rock and brought in through that way. The honeybees were. There were other style bees that were already here. In agriculture, being as we're out here in this northern Scott County, there's a lot of agriculture here that involves corn, which is kind of like a desert to bees because there's no pollen or nectar that they can collect. But there's a lot of soybeans around here, which are right at this time of year are just starting to bloom, and the bees will be able to collect a lot of nectar from them. At Miss Effie's here, she has a large amount of flowers that's watered all the time, and they collect a lot of nectar from them. We took some honey off of them, about 60 pounds of honey off of them 2 weeks ago. Now, so far this year, I've gone from 11 hives to I've got a little over 40. So, and they're across the northern Scott County. Now, Rebecca and I'm suited up. We've got a full suit on. Mine is a 3-layer thick so that the bees don't come and sting through it. The 3 layers are ventilated, so it's a little bit cooler. Rebecca's unlucky, hers isn't cooler, and hers is 1 layer thick. So hopefully they don't get too ornery today. Now we're going to use a smoker. The smoker makes them want to come out at us less. They seem to go in, start eating up some of the honey that is stored in the hive, and they pay more attention to it than they do us. Now, and then we'll pop them open.
So the smoke makes them, they think that there's a fire inside?
Yes, they think that there's a fire, and they're going to suck up all the honey that they can in case they have to fly to another location. So this is an inner cover. We took the outer cover off. This is inner cover, and we've got bees on it. Now we'll Okay, now this is the frame that we put in. And as you can see, it's a plastic foundation that's got the size of the comb on it. Now we'll move over a couple. And this is raw honey. It's all capped so that that's where it come off. The next was connected to the next frame. If I was taking honey off, I'd take this. We would take a knife, cut the sides of it, both sides of it off, set it in a centrifuge and spin it. And that's where you get your honey. Now this is down in where they'll have the brood at, or the babies. Now this area here is honey that they've got stored, and this here in the center is all the brood, or the baby worker bees. These will come out. The average bee will last anywhere from 1 week to 45 days is the life expectancy on the bees. They will either be eaten by a bird, hit by a car, or just wear themselves out. We'll go through here a little further. Okay, that one they're filling with honey. This is all brood on this side.
Can we see the honey side again?
They're just starting to pack it away. See, you can just see the shininess in it. And what that is as soon as it gets down to about 18%, they'll cap it like this up here is. Honey will last forever as long as it's capped. I know everybody'd like to see the queen, if we can come on to her.
What is the queen?
The queen is the one that lays all the eggs. All these, 90% of these bees are female. This one right here, this is what they call a drone. He is a lot bigger. He's the male bee. There might be 5 to 10% of the bees inside the hive will be males. The rest will all be females. This here, down in the bottom, you can see different colors. This is the pollen that they bring in off the flowers and trees. And they have to have the pollen. They mix the pollen with the nectar or honey, and that's what they feed the babies.
If you were to get stung by a bee, does it hurt really bad? Like, do you have to get treatment for it, or how do you?
If you are allergic to bees, yes, you have to get treatment for it. I know a few people that have had to go to the hospital because it affected their breathing. Their throat started to swell up. A lot of people will get a local inflammation. Like if you get stung in the cheek or something, it'll swell up. If I get stung over the eye, my eye might swell up. But for me, anywhere else, I just get what I call a hot spot. I can feel it. It doesn't really hurt. It just feels like a real warm spot. Now, on honeybees, when a honeybee stings, it leaves its stinger in you. And you should take either a fingernail and scrape it, or a credit card or something like that to scrape it out, because it actually pulls the back of the bee apart, and that little sac on the end of it keeps pulsating and keeps pumping its venom into you. So you want to try and get that out as soon as possible. Okay, again.
You can see the honey dripping.
Yep. That's the honey dripping down on it. That's the good stuff. And this will be just like that all the way to the other end.
Do you have to process the honey at all, or is it as soon as it comes off of these?
As soon as it comes off, oh, that comb's just hanging there. I won't be able to get that. What you do, or what I do, is the honey that come off the hives that I took off today will go back, and the cappings will be cut off of it. And then it will be put into a centrifuge and spun. Now the only thing we do after that is we run it through several strainers, and then it's ready to be consumed. It's considered raw honey. And I think we have covered quite a bit. If you have any questions, your teacher can always give me a call and I'll try and answer them. Or she can email me, and we can try and do it that way, and I can get the answers back to you.
Thank you so much, Bob, for today, and we look forward to talking to you in the future.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming out.
So after watching our video with the beekeeper, we learned a little bit more about honeybees. Another fun fact, honeybees are responsible for 80% of the pollination of the food that people eat in the United States. So honeybees do such a good job. But for our next activity, to wrap up this station, we are going to make our butterfly craft. So butterflies are also very important pollinators as well. Butterflies spread pollen from one flower to another, and they collect the nectar as they go from each flower. So they're super important pollinators as well, and I just wanted to touch base on them and remind you that butterflies have a really important job, just as important as our honeybees. So everybody has their own little snack size Ziploc bag, and you're gonna open it, and then everybody will have some tissue paper. So I'm gonna have you can leave it flat if you want to, but I think it's kind of fun to have, if you crumple it up just a little bit like this, and then you're gonna stick it in each corner of your bag. And I have some other like fun yellows. So I'm gonna mix it up a little bit, add some more. I'll do this quick so I can show you. And you want to fill it so it's pretty puffy, but not so full that you can't like shut your bag. So once I have my tissue paper in each corner, I pinched it like this. I zipped it shut, and then I pinched it right in the middle. And you can see that it still has some air in each side, and it's nice and puffy from our tissue paper. And then you're going to take your pipe cleaner right here. And I already kind of bent it a little bit to make it into the butterfly, but you're gonna take it and make it even, so like this. And then you're going to twist it 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, 1 for good measure. And then you're going to take the top of your pipe cleaner and twist them around to make them into a pretty butterfly. And then your butterfly is gonna look like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this activity and learned something about our pollinators and pollination in general. And I look forward to seeing you guys for the next station.